Planet Dolan.
From playing dead on the sidewalk to kissing a tattoo, the Planet Dolan crew reenacts some of the best true stories from our subreddit about the weirdest jobs we were ever paid to do. I'm Pringle the One, and today, I'll be your narrator. Number 10 was submitted by Heart Hero 456. The weirdest thing Tulip ever got paid to do was when his girlfriend, Spences, paid him $30 to spank her. He didn't know why she wanted him to do it, but she said if she did it, she would not only give him $30, but her PS4 that her mom bought her. Not being one to judge, Tulip went along with it. After about 10 minutes of spanking her, she looked at him with tears in her eyes but told him to keep going. Tulip kept spanking her for 10 more minutes until she told him to stop. He left her house with $30 and the PS4. The night she called him and said, "Hey, I need some treatment. Can you come over tomorrow? I have $30 more." That still goes on to this day, and Spencer still won't tell Tulip why. Number 9 was submitted by That's My Pillow. When Dolan was 14 and his older brother Zaraganba was 18, Dolan asked him to take him to a firework tent since it was almost July 4th. He agreed and took him to the nearest tent, which was about 10 minutes away and next to a tattoo store. When they got there, he just let Dolan go off by himself. When Dolan finished looking at the fireworks and Zaraganba bought some, they headed back to the car. Just then, a guy walked out of the tattoo store and said to Dolan that he would pay him $50 to kiss his tattoo. Since he needed to pay Zaraganba back for the fireworks, plus being the absolute dumbass he was, Dolan did it. The man pulled $50 out of his wallet and handed it to Dolan. Then he ran back to the store yelling at someone, I told you! Dolan looked back at Zaraganba, who had a look of horror as if Dolan just kissed the troll's butt. He then pushed Dolan to the car saying,
You're the stupidest and nastiest person I know.
Dolan still thinks it was worth it. Number 8 was submitted by Fan of Danger Dolan 0217. When McCallum was in high school, he was hanging out with his friend Gergak, who said he had a crush on a girl at school. McCallum had no problem with it since he was just friends with her. Gergak asked him to tell the girl how handsome and nice he was, to which McCallum said no, until Gergak said he would give him $100. At that moment, the girl walked by and McCallum went up to her, and before he could get a word out, she said, Hey babe, wanna come over so we could play? He said, no, I wanted to tell you. She cut him off and said, Grab my ass and just give it to me dirty, and proceeded to pull her pants down and twerk in his face. McCallum ran as fast as he could home, and Gergak called him laughing his butt off, though he still got the $100. Number 7 was submitted by Mega Pickle. Nixium's parents were friends with everybody on the block, and naturally Nixium chatted with them from time to time. Their next door neighbor, in particular, was very friendly. He was always so nice and helpful that Nixium quickly began to trust him as family. One day, he asked Nixium to come over to his backyard. When he got there, his neighbor said he'd give him $50 if he poured a gallon of cooking oil on his head and back. An odd request, but Nixium complied, and after pouring the slightly viscous slime, he thanked him profusely and gave him the slightly moist $50 bill. Nixium asked him about the odd request the next day. Turns out he was wasted, totally drunk. He remembers that he had a good reason, but couldn't recall what that reason was. To this day, no one can answer the question. Number 6 was submitted by Azura Midnight Zero. So one day Doopy came home from school. When her mom asked if she had been near anywhere strange smelling, Doopy said she wasn't. Her mom said if she went around the school smelling everybody, she would give her $60. Even if she declined, her mom still would have made her do it. The next day at school, Doopy had to sniff everybody on all 3 floors. Teachers, students, including her crush, and even the vice principals and principal. She eventually found the scent, and it turned out to be her best friend, who was dared by someone to get a bottle of cologne and perfume, mix them together in a bottle, and wear it for a week. Now to this day, Doopy asked them if they're going to wear any spray before she makes any physical contact with them. Number 5 was submitted by That One Dork That Draws. One day when James Shark was 9 years old, he went to a balloon festival with his parents. He was wearing a shark jacket that he zipped all the way up because it was freezing that day. A man in his 20s walked up to him and tapped him on the shoulder. The man asked, Hey, could you scare my kid, dude? James Shark was given a $20 bill, so he gladly scared the man's kid. It was the most money he ever got at a festival. Number 4 was submitted by Bike Rider Mike. A stranger once walked up to Slapped Ham and said, Hey kid, wanna make some money? At first, Slapped Ham thought he was crazy, but then after hearing what the stranger had said, he thought he was really crazy. The stranger needed him to play dead on the sidewalk for 2 hours as a part of a social experiment to see if anybody would walk up and help. Afterwards, the stranger paid Slapped Ham $25 for lying down and doing nothing. Number 3 was submitted by Salty Soda. So in Salty Squid's elementary school, the teachers were trying to figure out how to fix the issue with the younger grades not being able to find their buses on time. Their solution to this was to hire Salty Squid and other 5th graders to hide signs with the bus numbers on them in the hot summer sun, while the bus driver would talk their ears off in the air-conditioned buses. The weirdest part was that they paid them $5 a week, but in a school card, so they couldn't use it for anything but the school store, which was a crappy little stand that sold erasers and sharpeners. The only real positive to it was that Salty Squid got a sick tan, along with sunburns. Number 2 was submitted by Pixie Page X. Legno once got paid to throw paint on people as they finished the race. The paint wasn't liquid, but powder and bright green. It was also outside and was kind of windy, so whenever he threw the paint, it would backfire into his face. Even though he wore sunglasses and a mask, his contacts turned bright green, making him look like Shrek. The worst part was that he had to drive the 3 hours back home, covered head to toe in the dusty green paint. Number 1 was submitted by me, your narrator, Pringle the One. The weirdest job I was ever paid to do was when an old man would always come to me every single morning outside of school. He would be like, "Hey Pringle, come over here." And I'd be like, "What do you want, man? I got math class pretty soon." And then the guy would say, "Hey man, I'ma need you to run in a circle, right? And then afterwards, I need you to grab a pencil, sharpen it, and bring it back to me. And after you done, make sure you lick the tip." And this was always weird because I don't know what he was ever going to do with that pencil, but every single time I did it, he gave me $50. Until one day in a dark alley, I saw him with those pencils that he asked me to wet and everything. And he would just grab the pencils and then start eating them. He would eat them over and over, and he would just chew it like it was bubble gum. And then he would say, "Pencils licked by Pringles. Delicious." After that day, I always saw him as weird. But if you ever wanted me to do it again for $50, you're damn right I will. Huge thanks for the folks over on our Planet Dolan subreddit for submitting their stories. We have another question for you. What was the craziest thing your boss ever asked you to do? Let us know on the Reddit page link below, and you might be featured in a future countdown. This video was made possible by our fans over on Patreon. Thanks for your support, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Take care, everybody. Peace.